Hello students, I'm Chirayu, but again in the last video we have seen the construction of simple present tense. In this video we are going to practice simple present tense. We are going to practice simple sentences, we are going to practice questions, and we are going to practice negative sentences as well. That will make the picture clearer in your mind. So let's start with the first example, first exercise. And exercise 1 is verb form, fill in the gaps. So the first one is Margaret dash 4 languages, and the verb that we have to use here is speak. Now remember the rule of simple present tense. When the subject is third person singular, you have to attach either s or es behind the verb. Yeah, Margaret is third person singular, so we will have to attach s or es behind the verb. So Margaret speaks 4 languages. Here is the right answer. There are so many people who are watching this video and they have a question in their mind that when do we attach s and when do we attach es. So as of now, just remember one thing: the more you practice about these verbs, the clearer the picture will become in your mind. You will come to know when to use s and when to use es. There is no particular rule for that. So the more you practice, the more it will become clearer in your mind. Then the second example is Julia and I are good friends. Julia and I are good friends. I dash her and she dash me. So the verb that you have to, the appropriate form of verb that you have to use is like. Julia and I are good friends. I like her and she likes me. Clear? Why did I use like here and why did I use likes here? So I is first person singular, so I have to use the main form of the verb, which is like. And since she is third person singular, I have to attach either s or es behind the verb. So it will be she likes me, and in first one it will be I like her. Then the third example is it's not true, I dash it. So there has to be some connection between one sentence and the second one. There can't be contradiction in the two sentences. So the first sentence says it's not true, so it has to be the negative sentence in the second one. So I do not believe it. You can use don't as well if you want. Yeah. So it's not true, I don't believe it, or I do not believe it. Why did I use do not and why did I not use does not? Since I am talking about I used do not. If I was talking about he or she or it, I would have used does not. But that's not the case. I am talking about I, so I have used do not. And since both do and does, they are modal verbs, we always have to use the main verb with the modal verbs. Yeah. The fourth one is Mark is a vegetarian. Mark is a vegetarian. He dash meat. Remember I told you there has to be some connection between one sentence and the second one. So there can't be any contradiction in two sentences. So Mark is a vegetarian. He does not or doesn't eat meat. Simple as that. Why did I use does not? Because we are talking about he, which is third person singular. Yeah. So we use does not. And since does and do, they are modal verbs, we will always use the main verb with them. Fifth one is dash your sister dash in London, and the answer is no, she doesn't. So in the first sentence a question is asked, dash your sister dash in London. Now we are talking about your sister, which is third person singular, so I will use does here. Does your sister live in London? No, she doesn't. Simple. Sixth one, how much dash it dash to phone New York? How much? Since we are talking about it, which is again third person singular, I will use does. How much does it cost to phone New York? In the questions for simple present tense, we have to form the questions by using either do or does. When we are talking about I, we, you, they, we have to use do to make the questions. When we are talking about he or she or it, we have to use does. Simple. The seventh one is how often dash you dash to watch cinema in a month. In order to make questions, we either use do or does. When we are talking about you, we have to use do. How often do you, and with the modal verbs do and does, we always have to use the main verb, so we will use only go. How often do you go to watch cinema in a month? Eighth one, it always dash in July in India, and the verb that we are using is rain. So since the subject of the sentence is it, which is third person singular, we will attach s or es behind the verb. So it always rains in July in India. The ninth one is I often dash to see my grandmother who lives with my uncle. The verb that we have to use is go. Since we are talking about I, which is first person singular, I will only use the main verb, which is go. I often go to see my grandmother who lives with my uncle. And the 10th one is we dash cricket every Sunday. And the verb that we have to use is play. And since we are talking about first person plural, we will only use the main verb. So we play cricket every Sunday. That was the exercise for simple present tense, for simple sentences, questions as well as negative sentences. I hope that would have made the picture clearer in your mind. Thanks for watching my video. Bye.